listening to the GreenSkull podcast,
A podcast for fight fans, music artists, and creatives alike. Alright, we are back with another episode of the GreenSkull podcast. I want to say what's up to everybody. I know it's been a long time since we had the last episode, but we're going to get right into it. I wanted to talk about some boxing. This past weekend, I saw a really good fight between Joe Smith and ARTUR BETERBIEV, and I want to break down the next matchup. Both undefeated. We'll get right into it. ARTUR BETERBIEV, 18 KOs, 18 wins, 100% finish rate. Undefeated. His last fight was against Joe Smith, where he unified the IBF, WBC, and WBO light heavyweight championship. He finished Joe Smith in the second round. He's 37 years old and he's a fucking savage. He fought Joe Smith in the past weekend, which was a super lopsided fight. I thought that Joe Smith was going to come out guns blazing. You know, he was in his hometown. I thought that he would have put up a crazier, better fight, but you know, knockout artists, they hit hard and they're no joke, man. Even though you're a champ, obviously, BETERBIEV was the better man that night against Smith. But at the same time, it could have been a real good competitive fight if Joe would have kept his distance away from BETERBIEV, because he decided to stand and trade with him. And of course, when you stand and trade with a knockout puncher, you know what's about to happen. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because a couple months ago, we had DMITRY BIVOL. Yep, DMITRY BIVOL versus Canelo. All right. These guys are bound to fight each other because DMITRY BIVOL, give you a little background, is 11 KOs, 20 wins, and he's undefeated. He is a WBA light heavyweight champ. And like I said, his last fight was against Canelo, and it went all 12 rounds. Now, if you guys want to compare, they're both undefeated. BETERBIEV is actually the 100% finish rate fighter, but Bivol is still got that 20 wins with 11 KOs. You might argue, okay, if they were to fight, obviously BETERBIEV looks like the better man because Bivol had to go 12 rounds with Canelo, and obviously Canelo was moving up a weight class, which means he was a smaller guy. I feel like at a high level, any other person who's the same weight as Canelo moving up would have got knocked out. Canelo went 12 rounds because he's that great of a fighter. I don't think it was a walk in the park, obviously, because Bivol had basically 12 rounds and he won. But like I said, if it would have been any other fighter besides Canelo at that weight class, Bivol would have knocked him out. It's not to compare to say BETERBIEV is better because he knocked out Joe Smith, light heavyweight champ, in the second round versus Bivol, and Canelo's a smaller guy. This is a matchup that's going to come up soon because just like they unified the IBF, WBC, and WBO light heavyweight championship against Joe Smith, he talked about that he wants to hold all the belts. You know, like this is the era of everyone chasing all the belts. You know, we got Canelo getting all his belts. We got Devin Haney just running around trying to get every single belt. So he's already talked about it after the fight that he wants Bivol. And obviously he wants him because he wants to hold that WBA to make it 4 championships. I think it's a good fight. Even though ARTUR BETERBIEV is a 100% finish rate, I think Bivol will give him a run for his money. I think that the 20 wins and 11 KOs speak for himself. I think in comparison, this fight is going to be crazy. I don't think it's going to go the distance. Wanted to get into a couple of my predictions. If BETERBIEV were to win versus DMITRY BIVOL, I'm thinking it's KO within the first 5 rounds because he's a knockout puncher. He's got 100% finish rate, and clearly when you watch this guy, he don't play. Not to say that DMITRY's not a scary guy. DMITRY, I think that if DMITRY were to fight BETERBIEV, my prediction is if he were to win, it would be a long 12-round decision win because in comparison, he's a heavy hitter. Obviously, he's fought tons of guys in his own weight class, and we're not comparing the strength and endurance of Canelo. But like I said, Canelo was a smaller guy. I think they get to it, and one of them is going to get knocked out. I don't know. People say boxing is dead. I don't think that it's dead. I think it's definitely making a comeback. If anything, it's slowed down, you know, with horrible decisions and antics outside the ring. But besides that, I think this fight is going to be crazy. And if you're a boxing fan or a fight fan in general, you should be tuning into this one. This is just me getting ahead of everybody. Now, Beterbiev has talked about wanting to fight Bivol because he wants to unify the belts, but it's not currently in the works and it's not currently being decided upon. But I know this is going to happen. Everyone's talking about it. They're both light heavyweight. They're both champions. Beterbiev just got his other belt. So Bivol versus Beterbiev, I feel like is coming in the near future. Hopefully by next year, we'll actually be blessed to see that fight. Thank you guys for tuning in to the GreenSkull podcast. I know it's been a minute. I'm in a new space, so I had to situate everything. But it's all coming together. More content on the way. You guys can check me out on Instagram. Everything is in the link below. And thanks again for watching. Peace.
You're listening to the GreenSkull podcast.
A podcast for fight fans, music artists, and creatives alike.